What is disk partitioning inside a virtual machine? Imagine you have a large storage space inside a computer, but instead of one big room, you want to create smaller rooms for different purposes. That's what disk partitioning inside a virtual machine is all about. When you run a virtual machine, it uses a virtual hard disk file that acts like a real hard drive. This virtual disk can be made bigger or smaller depending on what you need. Partitioning divides this virtual disk into separate sections called partitions. Think of each partition as a different room in a house, where you can store specific types of data or install different operating systems. The virtual hard disk inside a virtual machine is just a file stored on your real computer's physical drive. This file can be set to a fixed size when created or grow as you add more data. When you partition this virtual disk, the guest operating system inside the virtual machine treats each partition as a separate storage space. This helps organize data better, making it easier to find and manage files. For example, you can have one partition for the operating system, another for applications, and a third for personal files. Partitioning inside a virtual machine works similarly to doing it on a physical computer. But because it's virtual, you have some extra options. You can resize partitions easily or take snapshots of the entire virtual disk, which is like saving a picture of your current setup. This makes managing storage more flexible and safe. When you set up a virtual machine, partitioning helps you decide how much space to allocate for each part. For example, if you want a virtual machine with a total of 50 gigabytes, you might give 20 gigabytes to the system and the rest to data storage. Proper alignment of partitions inside the virtual disk is important too. If the partitions are misaligned, it can slow down how fast the virtual machine runs. Tools like Windows Diskpart can help create aligned partitions easily. Partitioning also allows you to run multiple operating systems on one virtual disk. You could install Windows and Linux side by side, each in its own partition. This setup is perfect for testing or learning new systems without risking your main computer. Another benefit is that virtual disks are stored as files on your host computer. This means you can resize, move, or back up the entire virtual disk easily. Inside the virtual machine, partitions determine how the guest operating system accesses data. This setup helps keep your data organized, secure, and easy to recover if needed. In short, disk partitioning inside a virtual machine is about dividing the virtual hard disk into smaller, manageable sections. It helps organize data, install multiple operating systems, and improve performance. Because it's virtual, you get extra flexibility, like resizing partitions or taking snapshots, which makes managing storage simple and effective.